Hello, everyone. It's Dequita Carver. I'm here to do another video for you, just to give you some more truth. Listen to this video in its entirety. For those of you who don't know me, I do videos targeted individual and under heavy persecution. Targeted individuals basically it's persecution. For those of you who haven't followed my channel, if you watch my channel in earlier recordings, you'll see that um, it's a trauma induced type of program, meaning that some sort of trauma was given in order to induce some sort of trauma, some sort of pain, some sort of command to allow you to be able to obey. Okay, so the whole point of any type of persecution is to induce some sort of trauma. Inducing the trauma, why? Because the trauma is a reminder of the pain. It's a trigger of that pain. It's a reminder of an experience that caused you to be in obedience to any type of agenda that there is. So we understand that a lot of truth is coming in right now. We understand that a lot of people are receiving some sort of tribulation or some sort of persecution. We're seeing this on television. We're seeing it being acted out right in front of us. For those of you who follow the channel again, you will see that I've talked about the differences in reality. I talked about gaming and people being lost in terms of reality. Some people are awake to what's happening. Some people have awakened earlier than I have, and some people are still in a sleep state, and they're doing this purposely because, again, the whole concept is to sleep while they feed on you. Okay, so right now what we have is a situation where we're being utilized as basically energy. Human beings are being utilized as a form of energy. We're like the energizer battery. Okay, so we have this godly nature inside of us because we are godly beings. We were put on this earth in order to have dominion on the earth, put in the earth to have dominion over it, to have dominion over the birds, the trees, and the beasts of the field, and so forth. So now we're introduced into this new thing that we're seeing, that is referred to as the beast kingdom. As you look at biblical revelations, it's showing that we're now entering into a new kingdom, a new set of technologies that are being introduced that basically allude to themselves or refer to themselves as the beast system, as the beast kingdom. Now, what that's saying is, what they're really saying in code is this beast system is the beast. Okay, what else? When you think of beast, you think of something savage. You think of something monstrous. You think of something controlling, dominating, domineering, and so forth. So this is what we're running up upon. So we're running up upon this system that is beastly in nature. We're seeing people wear this beast in nature, where they're wearing on their shirts savage. They're calling themselves lions. They're calling themselves, but this is all animalistic, and we understand that this beast that they're referring to is really technology. It's the technology that is the beast system. So when you see computers, here's where it gets really informative. Where you see computers, you have these people wearing savage, you have people wearing slave on their bodies. These are computers. They're basically conditioning a person, a human person, to become slave minded. So here we have, again, we're being basically dominated. We're being basically overruled by a leader or by a ruler that is invisible, that we can't see, that is basically coordinating and pulling strings, that is basically giving us these titles, naming us these names, and they're all doing this through the entry of a computer. So when you look at these people, they wear savage, they wear beast. I'm the lion, king of Judah. I'm the lion. So what you're basically saying, and you're basically giving yourself a brand, and we don't understand that because, it says in the Bible, my people suffer from lack of knowledge. When we call ourselves a beast, you just basically labeled yourself as a beast. So when you come and say, I'm a beast, and you have to be choice with your selection of words because the enemy has programmed into you. So when you say I'm a beast, I'm a savage, and you're wearing that, then rightfully so, we come at you at a different angle because you're wearing your brand. You just branded yourself with a name, and so rightfully so, someone like me is gonna look at you and I'm gonna be a little bit. I'm not gonna take you as serious as I would like to because I see that you have already given yourself a title that is not something that that's something that I agree with, and you don't understand. I can see right now by what you're wearing on your shirt, you don't have lack of knowledge, because if you knew and you understood where we are today, you will understand that calling yourself a beast is basically you just basically reduced yourself. You reduced your title. You reduced your body. You reduced yourself to a minimal level. So what we're seeing right now is this beast kingdom. This is all being engineered by the elite. Okay, so what we now have now is a basically a divide and conquer strategy that's taking place right now unconsciously. Okay, unconsciously with people through the use of a computer, through the use of a Mac operating system, Apple. Okay, we know that the Apple originated with sin, Mac, Macintosh apples, whatever, Macintosh apples, and you have 11, which is symbolic for destruction. Okay, so the Mac OS operating system, 11, in the Lion, let's look at all of this stuff. Lion, they use some what is that about this man? Hold on a second. They use, you look at it as something in reference to Lion OS or something like that, Lion operating system. But this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm trying to say. But who calls himself the lions, right? Israel, right? Israel, the tribe of Judah, right? The tribe of Judah. So let's think about this logically. Let's walk this through. So you have, okay, so let's look at this analytically. So you have a Mac computer. Now look at all your keyboards on your keypad. You got the command button, you got the option button, you got the control button, you got the delete button, you got the escape button. You got all of these different functionalities. You got all of these different applications. You got the airport utility. You got you have the keys that allows you to give certificates and access. You got the terminal in which you are able to write code and write script. You got all of these different applications. You got FaceTime. You got QuickTime where you got the time machine. Okay, so let's look at it. You got all of these different applications that are utilized to restore a the operating system back to its original way. So you have things like viruses that they can send Trojan horses. They can send. You got the Python writing script, the Python. You got the JavaScript, all of these different methodologies for writing code or creating code, because ultimately we are only looked at as a pause of energy. We are energy beings, meaning that we are nothing but code. Human beings, we're learning this through researchers, scientists who have basically came to knowledge and understanding that we are holographic beings. A lot of us, and we operate in the only way that we are able to is when you're on the grid is to be able to interface with technology through that grid system. So they're utilizing human beings as some sort of interface where they're able to utilize technology in order to control us. It becomes to the point where, remember when in the Bible they said we're going to come into a time that unlike anything we've seen before. And this is a time where there's disobedience, there's watchers, there's false realities, there's avatars. So what we're seeing right now being played out is the beast kingdom. This beast kingdom is using the computer to control people. So there becomes a time when you enter the internet, okay? You're entering a net. You're entering a snare. You're going into www as your gateway, 666, and you're going into these gateways. You're going into these portals. The computer is the portal. The computer is the portal. The computer is the domain. The computer is the gateway. The computer is the mirror. And as you go into these gateways, you're basically giving authority, or you're giving a computer permission to interface with you, to dialogue through you, because this is the knowledge of the world. This is the knowledge of the world. Surprise, surprise. This is the beast system. This is the system that's being utilized because they're trying to take our identities. The computer is becoming so sophisticated and so utilized, it becomes an idol. Okay, because what do? We have our iPhone, we become merged with the phone. Okay, when you say the beast technology, all of these things that we ingest into our body are able to interact with your device. Okay, they're able to track you. They're able to intercept things that come through you. This is all being done by technology. So we understand the holographic universe. We understand that the sun and all of the harp and everything, harp and being in the Bible. So we understand that we're in the astral realm. We understand that we are in the astral realm. Some of us are locked into the matrix, which is the astral realm. And this, what's frightening is that this is in the Bible. This is all in the Bible. We're not realizing that we are being played like a video game. We're a bunch of actors and actresses that have been put into some sort of simulated reality, which is a false reality. Collectively, we're in this reality. This is how we're all connected to each other. So this is why we're all having the same similar experiences. You hear Me Too talking about. So we're having all of these simulated experiences, and I think there's a lot of it's simulating from. It had something to do with in between Mars and Hollywood. So if you ask me, it's all coming from those sources. And this is where, if you look at the Bible in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 6, it says, remember your creator before the silver cord is loose. The silver cord is what connects you to your, the silver cord, if I'm not mistaken, is that connects to your astral body, and it connects you to your physical body. So it's a connection. It's some sort of connection. It's like being in the womb, like the baby is connected by the umbilical cord. But this is a false reality. So somehow the beast system has found out. If you go to the Bible, remember the Bible spoke about, Master, how can we be saved again? What do we have to do? Die and go back into our mother's womb? And again, in order to do that. But what if I told you they were doing technology? They were doing all this through rituals. They were going into some sort of simulated reality where they're able to remove and split your astral body from your physical body, demonize the astral body, where you can no longer access that astral body because it's demonized and under control by another power. It's under control by another source. You know how the 144 are supposed to be the supernatural powerhouse, right? Well, what if they could destroy the powerhouse? What if they could somehow distort the powerhouse? What if they could somehow create an army for Satan and create an army for God? So what if they could create two sets of 144,000? 144,000 belong. And I'm not going to even say for God, because I believe God is out of this. I'm going to just be honest with you. They're recreating a war that was already won. Okay, so we already understand that a war was won. Okay, we already understand that the war was won, but this is another war that's coming on. Okay. So this is something where you have the beast system, this computerized system. Look at man in the middle, the man in the middle attack on your computers and how they operate and command bodies, us, human beings as computers, as robots. Okay, this is where the robot wants to control the human. This is where it gets crazy, where the robot becomes to mirror and emulate the actual human being in order to have the human being experience. And it just looks in the mirror. When you look into the mirror, the eyes that are that they've sent, to demonize your eyes and take your vision away. When you look at Yeshua, Jesus, he was basically butchered. He was basically, they cast lots on him, meaning that they split him. They split him up. They divided his garments, meaning they divided who he was. They divided and tore off who he was, meaning they gave a portion of his personality, a portion of his soul to other people. So he didn't sell his soul. They killed them and gave pieces to their people, to the elite. They gave pieces. Hey, you take this, he has this is a gift. You take this gift, you take this gift. And they basically butchered him up. Okay. And here's a misconception. A lot of people say Jesus died for us. He died for our sins. I don't believe that. I believe that there was a twin system. They created a twin system, some sort of dual dimension in which we're seeing right now. One is fake, one is real. They created, this is why we hear Jesus of Nazareth. This is why we hear Jesus, the Son of Man, Jesus, the Son of the living God. This is why there's different interpretations as to who Jesus was. There's no real answer. But then you see that when he was divided, when he was split up, they tried to split him up, and he was crowned with a crown of thorns. Those thorns were basically demons. They crowned him with, okay, you say you can turn this rock into bread. So they were giving him all these little challenges and all these little dilemmas to prove that he was who he was. So they put the crown of thorns on him, They didn't crown him with anything. They were not appreciating him. They were killing him. They were killing him. They crowned him with thorns, meaning they gave him 12, in essence, the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, so let me just be clear with you. Israel is demonized. Israel was demonized. They are demonized by moon gods, by sun gods, and they gave him that responsibility to cure Israel. Since we're gonna crown you with these 12 thorns, these demons that are demon possessed, and and these were basically parasites that they put on the top of his head. Excuse me. They crowned him with parasites. So there's some images that you see, sickness. They crowned him with sickness. They bombarded him. The government was on his shoulder, literally. The government was after him. The government was looking to kill him. The government was on his shoulder, literally. So you see him being crowned with the thorns that the government basically demonized Israel. They demonized Israel, and they crowned him with glory, which was false glory. Okay, so they say that their version of glory. And they basically, when you see Jesus's eyes, sometimes in the blood that came from his eyes, from them eating him up. I mean, it gets to a point where the burden gets too heavy, where the load gets too heavy, and you have to say, I got to drop this load, it's too heavy. And they do it purposely. They do it on purpose because the whole intent is to break you down, is to make you self-destruct, is to make you look like, they turn in something that is perfect. They want to turn something that is perfect into a monster. So this is where you see the dividing of him and the constantly breaking of him. Okay, this is where you see it. And this is where, there's a Jesus that this, and there's a Jesus that was praised. There's the false Jesus that was praised who didn't suffer, by the way. There's two. Let me just tell you, there's two. They created a twin, okay? They created a copy. Not really a copy. It's not really a copy, but they took something from him, okay? They took something from him and they demonized it, all right? And they demonized it. You hear the scripture, and I don't have it in front of me. True, they are, they're a spirit, but not of my covering. They don't come from me. They're a spirit. So when you hear that you versus you, it's not really you. It's you. It looks like it's you, but it's really something that they put attached to you. They basically split up the personality, and demonize some of those personalities with other spirits, demonic spirits. And that spirit is not you. It's just a part that is in you. So it looks like you're feeling like you're fighting yourself, but you're really fighting that spirit that is not your spirit. So when you look in the mirror and you say, I can't fight myself. No, you're not fighting yourself. You really are fighting a demonic spirit that has been placed inside of you. The crown of thorns is the parasites that attack your head. They attack your head. They attack your purpose. It's all intended. It was intended to turn something that is perfect into, they were jealous of Jesus. They were jealous of him. They were jealous of him. And they wanted to stop him because he was doing all of these great works and taking off of the attention from them. And when I say Jesus, I'm meaning anybody that is deceived right now, because people are dying right now. They're dying. And we have to get rid of this misconception that Jesus died for us. Jesus came to teach us. Jesus came to show us how to live. Jesus came to show us how to live and be free in our mind by the transforming of our minds. Our minds have killed us. So your mind can kill you. Your mind can be toxic. That thorn, those thorns on his head, they killed him. The thorns on the hill, but that was the Son of Man they hung. Okay, there's a spirit that is unbreakable. Okay, the spirit of Jesus is unbreakable. But here we have a problem where people are under this bloody oath. And when you take that oath, you basically just died. When you sign your life over to the Illuminati, or when you sign your life over to any type of secret organization, you basically just killed yourself. So guess what? They say you died. So guess what? Guess what you're gonna have? Everything's gonna be false. Everything you hear from this point on is gonna be false. Why? Because they gotta break you down. They gotta break down your mind. You may be given, you may be told lies. You may be saying you got cancer. You may be told you got HIV. You may be told, and guess what? Your mind has now taken on the oath. Your mind has now been transformed to death because you died, okay? So now everything is reprogramming. The mind is like, oh, shoot, okay. So now you're changing your mind with what? With their teachings and with their doctrines. Your teachings are no longer coming from the truth, the spirit of truth, okay? So now you begin to learn in their synagogue. So now you become part of their brand. And so now they're branding you as who? The Lion Tribe of Judah. They're calling you the Lions. They're kind of like, go get them, go rip them up, go get them. They're pushing war, putting guns in your hands, pushing drugs in your hands, breaking down your house, pushing women on you so that you can break up your households and putting all these honey pots on you so your marriages can break up. You the lion. Go ahead, go be the lion, go roar. And they're teaching you how to be animalistic. They're teaching you how to be angry. They're teaching you how to be violent. They want to see that violence in you. They want to see you act like the animal, like the lion of the Judah. And this is how they want to see you. I'm just telling you the truth. This is the truth. And so when you emulate that, you become that brand that they created for you. You become and you wear that brand. And I always said this, unless you are the commander of the lion, you're nothing. You're really nothing, because unless you can command, unless you can control the lion, if you're not a lion tamer, and if you're the lion, you're really nothing. I mean, because man rules you. So if you're really the lion, you are simply the beast that eats other animals, that eats other meat. So I mean, just think of the logic behind that. When you really refer to yourself as lion, because I've done it too. I mean, we've all done it unconsciously, not really knowing the truth behind it. But when you do it, you really classify yourself as this big cat, this big ferocious cat. And when you should look and reanalyze and say, what am I really calling myself? Because you become what you call yourself. So unless you are the tamer of the lion, then you're really not a ruler. You're not ruling anything but other animals. If you call yourself the Lion Tribe of Judah, what you're going to be is the Lion of Judah. You're going to be the lion. That's what you are, animal. So you're going to rule the other animals. But those that know the truth and want to call themselves to something else, then guess what? They will wear the lion's head. They will be the master of the lion because they know the truth. And so this is again the way of how we refer to ourselves as being, okay? And people hate the truth, right? So what do? They hide the truth. You tell too much truth, they kill the truth, right? So here I am telling the truth. It's me, the Queen of Carva, telling the truth, and I don't care at this point. I've been persecuted long enough, and I understand, that I'm taking the big risk here, and that's fine with me. I'm okay with that. But there needs to be a awakening that takes place in the sense of it's okay to be angry, it's okay to be righteously angry, but this is to the point where it's changing our society. This is a way to control us. We understand that they're doing a lot of research right now today on Black Hebrews. The Hebrews are Black, and Hebrews, and I know I'm Hebrew, and they're basically targeting people because it exposes a secret. And like I said, I can understand why they hated Black people so much, why there was so much hatred towards Black people. And when you look at Hitler killing Jews, I think that's all symbolic that he was killing Black people. I think he was killing Black people, but we don't know that. We don't have that history. When you say he was killing Hebrews back then, I think this is hidden code that there was really Black people being killed. I'm not saying that all Black people are Hebrew. I'm sure there's a variety of Hebrews, but he was killing the true Hebrews, the bloodline that was basically indestructible. The DNA cannot be corrupted, and I believe that. And right now we're in that battle. This is like Hitler. This is Hitler all over again. This is a way to control the masses. This is a way to create some sort of intercept in the dissemination of accurate information, of knowledge, of truth. This is a way to attack whoever carries that spirit of truth. This is a way to isolate them. So what do? You isolate these people. You create a network. You create a digital platform. You take all of these people. You follow them. You lie. You lie to their family members. You harass them. You target them. You tell them they have to take you have to do this, or else we can eliminate you. And this is where your faith has to come in. This is where you have to say, you know what? I look at other people and I look at their strength. Me as a person, I look at other people's strength. Some people say, how do you do it? I look at other people. I look at other people's strength and I say, wow, they did it. I can do it. And I'm just like, I'm inspired. Certain people that inspire me because you can see them walking the walk. You can see them walking the walk. You can see them doing it. And I'm inspired by it because they stood for something. I look at them and say, wow, they went out, they died, but guess what? To me, I commend them because they died for something that was right. They died for something that the people needed to hear. They died for something that needed to be said because it's impacting us. And so here we are. We're in this place where they're using the computers. They send a code to the terminal. They attack us through our networks packets. They send DOS attacks against us that feels like your head is eating up. And any of you who know this, you can understand this. Any of you, I'm sure some of you have experienced this. This droning, parasite droning. They're doing it through the computer. They're doing it through terminal commands. They're sending it through the computer, through the airways. The computer is in the clouds. You see in the book of Daniel, the Son of Man came in on the clouds with the, let's go to it. Because this system has to go down. This grid has to, it's creating a big problem. And you're not going to understand that until you, okay, so here it is. Then to him, wait. So here it is. I'm reading from book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 13. I was watching in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man coming with the clouds of heaven. The Son of Man coming with the clouds of heaven. The clouds is what? It's synthetic technology. It's the clouds aren't even real. It's synthetic technology. It's all a landscape. Okay, so it's all a landscape. So he came to the Ancient of Days. Okay, and they brought him near before him. Okay. And to him was given dominion, glory, and a kingdom. Okay. The kingdom of the beast, I believe. Okay. And people think that, oh, they need technology, so this is going to be something that's everlasting. This is going to be something that stays. Yeah, we need technology. We do, but we need to know there has to be some sort of way to control that technology and not letting the technology control us. Because when the technology controls us, then it becomes a problem. So that can never happen. Why? Because technology can be controlled. It's like an animal can be controlled. So can in technology. So we understand that can never happen because there is code that is written into these these software programs. There's people that are gifted, intelligent, who are able to write code and write how the program should operate, write how the program should respond, write algorithms. Okay, come up with what if scenarios, and not to mention that they're using computers, they're using human beings, like I said, to interface with these computers to show emotion. You can see this in the movies. Watch the movie Her. You can see this in the movies. Watch the movie Girl 6. You can see this in the movies. That's that dark side of you, and they're trying to say that this is your twin. They're basically saying that this is your twin. This system is your twin. This is a thing. There's some sort of device. They're talking. I haven't done a lot of research on nanotechnology, but they're saying all of these different things are implanted in you that are able to interface with the technology. I can interface with my computer. That's why when people want to use your computer, they want to use your computer to see what your stuff is, so they can manipulate you. Your computer is a very personal device. So they have all of these different methods in programs in order to merge a human being to a computer. And they're doing that by separating the angel that's in you. Basically placing the angel in a stronghold. And it said we're going to see days unlike we've seen before. Okay, remember in the book of Daniel, Daniel was troubled by what he saw. Daniel has never seen anything. When he had the vision, go and read the book of Daniel, Daniel chapter 8 and Daniel chapter 9. When he saw what he was seeing, he couldn't believe what he was seeing, and he never seen anything like that, and it like freaked him out. So and this is that time. But we all understand, and it says that the beast, and they're calling who the beast? They're calling the lion the beast. They say his head was destroyed, and they're talking about the Son of Man, Jesus, because they crowned him. They crowned him with a crown of a crown. They say glory. To him was given dominion, glory, and kingdom. So to me, it sounds like it's something that they didn't want. It's a kingdom that they didn't want. So he gave them this kingdom, and this kingdom has been troubled. That's what it sounds like to me. If you read chapter 7, verse 9, And this is why you have to be careful with coveting. This is how you have to be careful with trying to be other people and just being yourself, because that's idol worship. And so, when you get to the position where we want to be this way, we want to be that way, or I want to be her, I want to be like her. It's okay to admire somebody's gifts. It's okay to notice somebody's talent and work to it. But you have things inside of yourself that you need to be able to pull out and work on and develop on your own, as opposed to noticing somebody else's gifts and talents and trying to become them in your mind and change your reality. Then again, when you take this oath, you know, any memory of you is gone, totally gone. So it's like they totally brainwash you. So you forget who you are. You lose yourself in that oath. You forget. So you could be the Queen of Carver one day, and as time goes on, as they eating you up, because when you sign on to death, you basically signed on to them eating you up. Okay, you offered yourself as a sacrifice to be ate up. You know, when Lauryn Hill sang that song, what she said, when she sing the song, she said, "I get out." It's called "I Get Out." I get out all of your boxes. I get out. You can't hold me in these chains. I get out. And she mentioned something about animal conditioning. She mentioned something about being used in the system as just being used up as a system for the dead, a system for the dead to feed off of you. It's a system for the dead to be able to feed off of you, feed off of your creativity, feed off of your life, to take pieces of you and give it to other people, to dissect you and and basically leave you reduced to nothing. So if you see this, I look at this as being the lion of Judah. When it says that they brought him near before him, and to him was given dominion, glory, and the kingdom, I look at it as being their lion of Judah. To me, the Son of Man, and he was crowned with these thorns. It's their version of Jesus. It's their version. It's the digital version of Jesus. The digital version of Jesus. There's a digital version of Jesus. And then there's the truth. There's the truth. Okay, so it's one of those things where the lines are blurred and we're losing, like, who is it? And they hide the truth. That's the whole thing. They hide the real truth. And the truth, to be honest, I don't know if the truth want to come out, because it's more like you come and you got to deal with all of this. But those thorns are problems. You can look at this in the Emmanuel prophecy. Go to the book of Emmanuel and look at the Emmanuel prophecy. The Emmanuel prophecy. So they put all these problems on Jesus, on the Son of Man. And I'm not saying that it's right for even him to get, even if he did take the oath, I'm not saying that it was right for him to be persecuted to be persecuted to that severity. And that it just leads me to say, well, how could you pledge allegiance to something that has eaten you up and something that has deceived you and tricked you to that? How could you be faithful to a people, to a group, a society that is looking at you staring and wondering who's going to be the next sacrifice? How could you sit at the table and y'all call yourself sisters and brothers, all these different fraternities, these sororities and stuff, and you sit at this table with these people and y'all laugh and y'all eat together and y'all looking at each other because somebody know that you're the next sacrifice? How can you sit with those people? Where's the loyalty in that? How could you sit? How can I sit next to somebody I call my sister and that knows all my things, knows everything about me, and I know that they're about to kill her? How can I sit with you? How can I sit with you and watch and know? To me, I don't see the logic behind that. And knowing that can be you, and I can love this organization, and I can be a part of these people who say they love me, but they about to kill my sister, and I don't know when my time will be next, because I know I'm gonna get a time, and I don't know when that time is. But you have to think of it like that, and that's how you need to think of it. I understand, that things have to happen, but on this level, this is purely evil. So this is something where you see it's all deception. So they gave him the crown, they gave him the crown of thorns. He was excited about being the king, perhaps. They gave him the thorns. They would give him all the women. That sounds really good, right? That sounds like, I'm the king. I'm going to get all these girls, and, everybody going to be after me, and, and I'm going to have it going on. That sounds really, doesn't that sound like the bomb, right? To somebody that's young and don't really know. To, you hear that, and you're like, oh, shoot, I'm going to be getting it. I'm going to be up, and it sounds like you're the man. But you have to think about the women that they're sending to. They ain't sending no church. They not sending the nice women to you. I'm going to tell you, They ain't sending some ratchet women to you. They're sending problem women to you. They're sending women with problems to you. Because why? Because that's the whole method to break down the house. To break down the house, you be constantly fighting with your wife, constantly fighting with the girls that you're sleeping with. They fighting with your wife. This is the chaos. This is where it is. This is what the chaos is about. So you had this beast system, and these are these clones, the clones, and they become computers, and they gave them names, and they told them that, okay, they say to this computer, they program the computer, this computer, you're the Queen Carver. And the computer is like, I'm the Queen Carver. And that's all the computer is like. I got to follow with the command, what the master say, the computer, with the master, the keyboard. So you looking at this computer, you battling the computer, you battling the mirror, the portal, and you in the mirror, and they like, I'm the Queen Carver. And you're like, no, I'm the Queen Carver. And you have to remember who you are every day. You have to remember who you are every single day, because that becomes the battle. Remember, I don't know if I said this in one of my other videos, but when there was a point where I saw, like, Jesus had a lot of different names. Hosea, throughout this Bible, the American Bible, throughout the Bible, he had a lot of different names. And I said to myself, somewhere along they kept changing his name. They was changing who he was. And with those name changes, your identity changes. As they keep changing your name, they give you a different brand. They give you a different title. They give you a different personality. As they keep changing your name, but if you stay to the Queen Carver, I'm the Queen Carver. This is who I am. I heard what you said. I'm this person, but no, I'm the Queen Carver. I'm the Queen Carver. I'm the Queen Carver. I know that. Why? Because I got proof. I'm the Queen Carver. I'm the Queen Carver. And he said, no weapon formed against me will be able to prosper. I know that I've been through that. I know that they did this to me, but guess what? I'm still the Queen Carver. That was a weapon. It was formed and it didn't prosper. I'm the Queen Carver. But you have all of these other people that are coming, saying, well, I'm the Queen Carver. And those are the computers. And you have the only way you can fight truth is through knowing who you are, standing firm in that. And I'm not gonna bend on that. I'm the Queen, like, serious. I don't need to say anything else. I'm the Queen Carver. So, and that's what you stand to. That's what you stick with, because that's all you know. So they can't come and change you and give you a different personality and say, this, we recreated you. This, you're gonna be this person. Today your name is Yusuf. And we can't let them change. We can't let them do that to us, because then you become like, who the hell is Yusuf? There's like, then you become Yusuf, somebody you don't even know, and you just, your brain is white, so you're like, okay, I'm all right, I'm Yusuf, and you don't realize what's happening to you. So, and I'm gonna just read something to you, because I want you to see this. I'm gonna read something to you, because I want you to see this. So this comes with a lot of times. When you go into this, they take your personality, they take your life, they take your pictures, they take your Facebook. In my case, they took my Facebook account. I can't get back into my Facebook account. I can't get back into my Facebook account. And it's bad when you have to send an email, when their emails are intercepted. I mean, the computers are intercepted. For those who are true, I'm talking about true, like me, they intercept my emails. Some of y'all ask my email addresses. They intercept my emails. They intercept my phone calls. They intercept everything. My life has been literally, I can show you proof. We can go. That's a whole nother story. They intercept every single detail of my life. Every single thing has been intercepted. And I'm not lying. So they try to erase you. They try to eliminate you. But I'm still here. I'm still holding on. I slept in my car the last 3 days. It's been pretty rough. It's been pretty rough. So but I'm persevering. I'm persevering because I understand, and this is what I'm here for. Some people are here simply just to tell the truth. Some people are here on different journeys. Each of us have a different role that we have to play, and things that we have to do while we're here. But there's something I wanted to read to you in the book of Isaiah, because I'm telling you, when you get around a crowd of people that you're going with, that when you're around a certain crowd of people, they can change your dialogue. They can change your dialogue. If you are the company you keep. You are the company you keep. And just think about this. Their doctrine, their Bible. Think about this. The computer is a spy. The computer is a spy. Okay, Siri is a spy. Siri is the all-seeing eye. And so if this spy is operating through us through interface, then everywhere we go, our eyes are seeing something. We all over the place. Right? Does that make sense? And then not only that, Not only that, but if if you are in a if you are a vessel, and a very important vessel, a very gifted vessel, then wouldn't they want to possess you? When you look at when you look at Joshua, when he had to go to Rahab, the house of Rahab, the house of the harlot, that means he entered her. He entered her, the house of the harlot. Tell me if this is Jesus. Okay, he entered the harlot. Okay, tell me if this is the Jesus, or is this the pleasurable Jesus? Is this the oath Jesus, or is this the pure Jesus? And I want you to really look at this. So Joshua had to go into the harlot. Okay, he went into the harlot, and he was able to spy out what she had. Okay, why? Because he is the computer. He was a computer. He was able to spy out her possessions, able to see what she had. He was able to see what she had. And he went back and reported to Moses, all of the the things and everything. And so with that, you look at the same scenario, Hosea, in going to the harlot house, his wife was the harlot, and it's just like, really, and you have to look at what we're reading. We have to look at what we're reading and really look at this analytically and say, does this make sense? Jesus married a whore. Does this really make sense? And we understand that there's mercy and all of that stuff, and we understand that, but we understand that people change. We understand that people get saved. I understand that. We love the salvation of Jesus and everything. We celebrate that. But listen to the stories. Listen to the stories and what they're basically, what we're allowing to believe. Okay, so here we go. This is the sin-bearing servant. I'm reading Isaiah chapter 53. So I'm going to read this to you, and I'm going to share some real truth. You pay attention right here. The sin-bearing servant, behold, my servant shall deal prudently. He shall be exalted and extolled and be very high, just as many were astonished at you. So his vision was marred more than any man. His vision was blind. He was blinded. There's certain things he couldn't see. And his form more than the sons of men. So shall he sprinkle many nations. Kings shall shut their mouths at him. For what had not been told them, they shall see. And what had not been heard, they shall consider. Who has believed our report, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and a root out of dry ground. So this is the seed of Jesse. This is like the root, the seed of Jesse. For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant. He has no form or comeliness, and when we see him, so this is something that it has no form or comeliness, okay? And when we see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him, all right? He is despised and rejected by men. Okay, so he's rejected by men. A man of sorrows, and acquainted with grief. And we hid, as it were, our faces from him. Okay, so they hid from him. So there was something about him that there was something about him that they were probably frightful of. Okay, so because they hid their faces from him. They were okay, because they hid their faces from him because they were doing something wrong. Okay, he was despised because that spirit of conviction will get up in you. Okay, he was despised and we did not esteem him. Surely he has borne our griefs. Okay, he took on their griefs and carried our sorrows. Yet we esteemed him stricken, smitten by God, and afflicted. This is their understanding. But he was wounded for our transgressions. This was their understanding. Okay, he was bruised for our iniquities. This was their understanding. The chastisement for our peace was upon him, and by his stripes we are healed. This is all false. This is all false. So what they're saying is, this is talking about Jesus. They're calling him a sin-bearing servant. Like he was supposed to get beat up, spit on, choked, ridiculed. He was supposed to get all of that. This was his sentence. This is what he came here for. This is what they say. This is it. What they're saying, that he came here for this. Okay? So hear me out here. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way. And the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. And the Lord has laid on him the iniquity. Do you know how much of a burden that is? The iniquity of us. You know how much sin they do? You know how much blood is on? Do you know what they've done? So he was oppressed and he was afflicted. Yet he opened not his mouth. No, he opened his mouth. He was led as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before his shearers is silent. So he opened not his mouth. He was taken from prison and from judgment. Sounds like a lot of us, right? Does this sound familiar? Does this story sound familiar? And who will declare his generation? For he was cut off from the land of the living. He was cut off from the land of the living. That means somebody took him and hid him. He was really alive. He is salvation. They took him away from the living. Why? Because the living, so the living couldn't see the glory. So the living couldn't see the truth. Remember, there's a parallel to this. Remember the Daniel chapter 8, truth was cast down. Truth was cast down. Okay? There are dimensions and there are gateways and there are places where people hide the truth. Okay, why? Because if the people see you, then they know. When they look into your eyes, that's a conviction. That's true. They look at you and they know exactly who you are. Some people can see you for who you are. So here they say, and they said, so who would declare? He was cut off from the land of the living. He was alive, but they took him to the dead. Okay? For the transgressions of my people, he was stricken. For the transgressions, listen to him. He's calling them his people. This is the thief. This is the thief that couldn't look in his eyes. They hid their faces from him because they were the lie. They were the lie. They stole his identity. For the transgressions of my people, he was stricken. Look at this as, remember the story with Kuta Kenta, when the slave, where he was getting whipped, and they kept, the slave masters, trying to change his name, beating him, whipping him, beating him, lashes on his back. And they was like, what's your name? And he wouldn't change his name. He kept saying Kuta. And they was like, no, your name is Toby. And he's like, no. But when you change your name, that changes everything about you. It changes your whole now it changes your identity. You become a different brand. Okay? So when you don't wear your own true brand, you become somebody else's brand. You become what they wanted you to become because they mixed up Toby. They put curses on Toby. They put mixtures and ointments on Toby. They said, this name has already been, we sent this name and devoted it to the moon, to the stars, the constellations. This is your name because we already branded this name and you are going to become that brand. Whatever this brand of Toby is becomes you. Now you're Toby. Okay? So it says, he was, for the transgressions of my people, he was stricken. And they made his grave with who? The wicked. They made his grave with the wicked. They made his grave with the wicked. They made his grave with the wicked. So here you have truth in the midst of hate, in the midst of blood, in the midst of falsehood, in the midst of lions, in the midst of ravenous, in the midst of wolves, okay? But with the rich at his death. What sense does that make? So, and they made his grave with the wicked, but with the rich at his death. So this sounds like he was a holy vessel, right? He was a holy vessel because he had done no violence. Wow, he had done no violence, nor was there any deceit in his mouth. He was the truth. They used the truth for their own gain. They took his identity. They held him. They took him, held him hostage, took his identity, and they became him when they went out in the street. Took pieces of him, and they became him when they went out into the streets. Okay? So, but yet it pleased, listen to this. Listen, then it says, yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. It pleased them. So this man did no violence, nor was there any deceit in his mouth, but he loved whooping them. Why? Because he was so perfect. It pleased the Lord to bruise him. The Lord had a problem with himself. Okay? The Lord simply means ruler. It simply means ruler, a wicked king, a wicked queen. And it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He has put him to grief. When you make his soul an offering for sin, who is his soul? Israel. Israel, why are you getting attacked? Who's attacking you, Israel? Who is attacking you? Who's really attacking Israel? His soul was Israel. His soul was Israel. His soul was Israel. But Israel got deceived. Israel went with a different master. Israel had a different master. Israel got put into witchcraft, and they were part of his affliction. They were also part of the thorns that got put on his head. They divided and conquered. So when you make his soul an offering for sin, okay, so they sacrificed Israel. They got Israel being sacrificed, okay, to the moon, the stars and constellations. They're perverting Israel. They perverted their doctrine. They changed and scattered Israel. They changed the doctrine of Israel. Okay, they took the shepherd, they took the mat, they took Israel's God, and they dissected them. Okay, and made it look like Israel's God did this to them. He shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hands. So they're gonna give him pleasure. Instead, they like, we're gonna give you pleasure. Okay, so we're gonna keep you here, keep you hostage. We're giving you pleasure. All right, this is where the crown of thorns come in. This is where Israel come in, his people. So here you go, you have his people and him. The people. You change it. You trying to change this. You trying to change them. He shall see the labor of his soul and be satisfied. He shall see the work of his people, Israel, and be satisfied. This is something else. By his knowledge, my righteous servant shall justify many. They don't made this. They don't made. They don't made the. I'm just laughing because this is crazy. But they made the master. They made the king the slave. They made him the slave. They changed him into a slave. Okay, they changed him. By his knowledge, my righteous servant shall justify many. By his knowledge, my righteous, they said, my righteous servant shall justify many. Meaning he gonna take on their sins. He gonna make them right. For he shall bear their iniquities. He shall take on their iniquities. He didn't agree to this. Mind you, he didn't agree to this. So when we hear the doctrine that, Jesus came to take on our sins and he died for us, that's all lies. Those are all lies. Therefore, I will divide him a portion with the great. So this is the thief telling Jesus what he's going to do. This is a thief telling the truth what I'm going to do. Therefore, I will divide him a portion with the great. And I'm not sure if this is more so this is a spirit of truth that they took. So this could be the Holy Spirit, which is God, So the Holy Spirit was in Jesus. So this is the Holy Spirit that they took. They took the truth. There was no deceit. There was no, this was the Holy Spirit. Okay. And he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he poured out his soul until death. Not by his choice. This is not what he agreed to. Because he poured out his soul unto death. And he was numbered with the transgressors. Numbered, meaning given a number. He became something different. They changed him, and he was numbered with the sinners. So they tried to change who he was. And he bore the sin of many. And made intercession for the transgressions. And he bore the sin of many. So here you have this perfect person. Now you see why all these targeted individuals are being demonized and going crazy, and they're using the holy brand. In the book of John, they talk about how John 2, I believe, how the Pharisees went into the church and stole doves. They traded doves, and they trade doves because they're holy. They're holy, and they're the spirit of truth, and they trade them. And they basically gain off of them. They gain off of them. They gain off of them because they take them and confiscate them. They eat them up. They're ravenous wolves. They eat them. They drink their blood. Okay, they drink their blood. Cannibalism, cannabis, smoking of marijuana is legal. Rituals, eating cannibalism. Okay, so this is all we're seeing. All of this being played out. This is. We're doing unconscious harm to each other. We're unconsciously harming each other because we don't have the knowledge behind it. But this is what Jesus came. This is to clarify everything. This is what the Spirit of Truth has come to do, to transform lives. Transform lives by what? By the renewing of your mind, because they understand that the world was cursed. He didn't come to kill anybody, but to renew minds. But somehow the dialogue got twisted. We have to remember who's the ruler of this world right now. The ruler of this world is a temporary ruler. This Bible is temporary. This word is going to change because this word has so many different contexts in terms of the various gods that wrote it. And to me, my whole interpretation is the gods are the ones that died. When you look at Revelation chapter 12, those people who died, who came here for truth, you see Nipsey Hussle and you say, oh, they black. No, I mean, truth comes in all shapes, forms, and sizes, all colors, all variations. You see some people that come here for solely the truth, and they come and they share that truth, and then they die behind it, and they know that they're gonna die because they know that what they're giving up, and they're prepared for this because over time they've been toughened up, they've been beaten, they've been their skin is like leather, you can't get to them, and it's just like they come to that point of their level of maturity where they can say, I'm fearless. I'm gonna go out here and tell what I know, and that's it. And I know I know the repercussions. I know what's the possibility that may happen, but the truth is out, and you're able to do this, and you're able to do it and not fear the repercussions because you're doing it out of love. It's so easy for some people to just to hold on to it and be like, I'm not saying it. I'm scared. It's too much. And you have to feel confident in what you do. And I understand that some people don't want to say it, some people don't want it. But if the truth is in you, if you have that spirit, you're gonna tell the truth. It's just in you. You're gonna you have to. That's what your purpose is. That's what your walk is about. The truth. And so when you do that, comes the harsh reality of people waiting for you to assassinate your character, throwing you in the hospitals, say you crazy, set up scenarios, and label you a monster, and set up. They all around us. It's staged. This whole world is staged, and you can see that because you have the truth in you. So you can see that this is Westworld. I can see that this is Westworld. I can see the enemies waiting at the corners for me, waiting for me and trying to trigger and trying to propagate something out of me in order for me to attack, or in order for me to come off as delusional or something like that, in an effort to take me out, in an effort to lock me up, in an effort to put me somewhere where I don't have the freedom to go out and be in society and reveal truth. Because again, the whole point of it is to lock the truth up and let us keep living like we did. But we got the truth with us, so only us can know. Only the certain people can know what the truth is, because we got the truth with us, and we'll access her. We'll go into her virtually. We'll go into her virtually and find out things like that, and we'll eat her up and drink her blood and all that stuff, and we'll find out secrets and stuff like that, and we'll know it. And this is abusive. This is abuse. I'm not supposed to be here. It's a lot of us that are here, and just some level of protection you're supposed to have because you are the truth. And this oppression is unlike anything I've ever felt before. I don't have a way to take care of myself. Like I said, I was out. I literally slept in my car in the park, and the police came on the third night, and told me I had to leave. And this is the reality of it. I felt so much, and this is the crazy thing about it. I never had so much peace, and I'm telling you, like, really, that I thought about it, and I washed up. I had to go wash up at a Walgreens. When I washed up at the Walgreens on Saturday. I washed up at the Walgreens on Saturday, but by Sunday I was like, look, I had to come to the house and say I gotta take a shower. So I took a shower the next few days, and I felt better. But I never had so much peace. You can be in a dimension. A house can be a dimension. A house can be a gateway. A house can be a portal. A house can be demonically oppressed without even the inhabitants knowing it. But you know exactly what's going on in that house, and they don't even know. They're totally oblivious to it, and they have no idea what's going on in the house. But you have knowledge of that. And I had to get out of the house, and I'm trying to find a way to get my kids out of this house. And when you have people that are doing things that they don't realize that they're doing unconsciously, and I don't know if they are conscious or if they're conscious, or if maybe they just compromise. I don't know, but and they're destroying. They have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea. They have no idea what they've gotten themselves into, and it's it breaks down the house. And for that reason, I know that when I got out of this house, I had a rash on my body from electricity. I think it came from, when they say ghosts and all of that stuff and portals and things like that and are in the house, you get rashes, rashes on your body. I had like, all these skin problems with my body and itchy skin, and it's coming from, I wake up to the smell of formaldehyde and chemtrails in the air, and and you see your accounts on the internet being spoofed. You can see two network accounts with the same, or the Wi-Fi with the same name that yours is, but with a number behind it. I mean, you can see the technology being used against you. You can see everything. And, even my neighbors, they don't even know, they don't realize they get watched too. My neighbors next door to me, they're getting watched. They duplicate names, and you see that in it twice, one for them and one for the whoever watching. I'd be fresh as hell as the feds watching, that type of stuff. So it's like, it's like that type of thing, where you can't even get privacy. There is no privacy. There is no privacy. So this is a new world order. It's already in effect. It's been in effect. I'm just, the last one to know it. It's like you've been taken out of the way because, people are going through some hard times right now, and they try to remove whoever the biggest, who know that word and who know the scripture. They try to move you out there. Don't put her there yet. Leave her out of it. And they, people need you, and you don't know how to respond to it. So, but this is it. This is the reality. This is the reality of it. So I wanted to share this with you. I wanted to share this truth with you because I am at that point where, enough is enough. And people need to be aware as to what's happening, that we're already here. People know, and I can feel it. People know. And the first night when I was over there at that park that I slept in, somebody else was in there. And they stayed, I don't know if it was he or she, I couldn't see them. But they were there all night. And, I didn't feel like they were doing anything to me. I didn't feel like that. I felt like they too were, they going through it too. And I have to say this. This is crazy. So I have this neighbor, I jog in the subdivision. I jog in the subdivision. Stay in shape and stay healthy. I jog in the subdivision, and I had got caught in a flash flood. It was raining real bad one day, and the whole car got messed up under it, and the engine got wet and everything. The car was actually immersed in water. It happened so quickly that I just got it. I just landed in there, and one of the neighbors that see me jog helped me out and everything. But and since then, every time I run, I speak to him, make sure I speak to him. But it's interesting because when I was over there, this is the first time my mind has been very clear, where I was able to like really think and put things into perspective and try to formulate a plan and realize and see spiritually and everything. And I was over there, and I'm like, I thought about him, and he just popped up in my head. And I don't know why he popped up in my head, but it was so vivid. It was so clear. And then as I'm over there, that next day at around 4 in the morning, I just so happened to look up, and how you wake up and and I'm in the car, and I look up, and and at first I'm thinking it's the cops. I'm like, oh shoot, and I'm just like, but then I see him, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it was just so crazy. It was crazy. I saw him, and I was like, what the heck? And I'm like ashamed because I'm like caught, and I'm like, it's like kind of embarrassing, like you in your car, but I'm like, hey, whatever it takes. And I'm just like, wow. And he said, was I okay? He was like, asking me, was I okay? He was like, was I'm sure. You don't want to burden people with your problems. I could have sat there and had them out there for hours, But it's like, you don't want to burden people with your problems because you don't want your problems to become theirs. And so you try to keep people out of it and tell them as little as possible, because again, he got his own problem. He got, he's married and everything. And I don't want to seem like I'm intruding and put my stuff on him. So this is one of those things where I just told him I was fine, but it was just thoughtful for him to do that, just to drop by because he saw my car because I'm riding around with a big dent and the thing is dragging on the ground. I don't have any money. I can't work here. I'm a registered nurse. I can't even work. It's like they totally took me away from life. And so as I say that, please donate to this ministries, Day of the Lord Ministry. P.O. Box 777, Conyers, Georgia 30012. So, even the teachings that I've done prior to this, I look at some of the teachings and I say, some of that information is actually inaccurate. And I can say that, as you come into more knowledge and understanding, you can see how you're being used by the enemy. You can see how you're being used to do the will of the enemy. So I feel like I'm in a tug of war. I feel like I'm in the middle of something, and it's like pick a side. I always say that it's like pick a side, and I'm like, no, I'm not picking a side. I'm not, I'm staying with my truth, and I'm totally moved away from religion and totally just focused on the truth. Whatever I feel is the truth, and I stand in that truth, and I'm not getting into, the who's right and who's wrong. It's just the truth. I just speak the truth, and it's not pointing the finger, so to speak. So and that's it. And so, but that whole scenario was really crazy. It was so strange, but I was like, wow, I can't believe that. So, I was just really happy about that. Silly stuff like that made me smile. So somebody was thinking about me. So obviously, when I had that thought, he probably, I don't know why he was thinking about me, but he probably had that thought. So, but yeah, that was crazy. So, shalom, everyone. Till next time.